All right. Welcome to the Indie Corner After Dark, where we not only talk about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Seamus.
And also making his return to podcasting, our boy, you've seen him back in Soon to Shield, but he's back again to talk about Ant-Man. Alec, how you doing, Alec?
Hello, everybody. It's great to be part of the Indie Corner After Dark, and I'm excited to talk about it's all things cinema, like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yes, that's why I wanted you, Alec, because you're my movie guy, and I needed my movie guy here. All right, so yeah, people, we're back in again with episode 13 of Indie Corner After Dark, where we're obviously, since I already said it and Alec already said it, we're gonna be talking about the latest. I think this is the first Phase 5 film. I think, yeah, right. Yeah. First film of Phase 5, Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, aka Ant-Man the Wasp, Kang gets 30, aka Ant-Man the Wasp, Jonathan Majors rips Paul Rudd in half. So we're gonna get right into it, people. But I'm excited and thank Rebecca, Seamus, Alec for joining me today. It's gonna be hopefully a good conversation. All right, people. So first off rip, let's just start off by saying, what were your first impressions going into the movie? I don't know, like who wants to start?
I guess I'll go. So you guys know we talked about this before. I'm not like a big Ant-Man movie person, so I was kind of like, I don't really know about this movie. And coming out of it, I thought it was fine.
Okay.
All
right, cheers.
Yeah. I said it before. Even on this channel, I said it before. I was only here for Kang. I was pleasant. I was only here for Kang. I was only expecting Kang to be good, and that's pretty much what happened. Kang was the only good part.
All right, Alec.
My first impression going in was it's the start of a new phase and the new chapter in the MCU. So I had expectations, not as large as, like, say, Endgame, but I expected game-changing expectations with Kang showing up. And I walked out satisfied, but I do think it could have packed a larger punch.
Okay. All right. Fair. I mean, I've also said it on the channel before. I was only excited to see my boy Jonathan Majors with the Creed 3 body out here, ripping Paul Rudd in half. So that was the go-to. But also, I've said this before. That, like, I like the Ant-Man franchise. I don't think it's that bad as everyone says it is. So I was expecting this movie just to be mid with Kang as the highlight, and like that's pretty much what I got. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got in terms of that.
Across the board.
It's like, yeah, across the board, pretty much. But yeah, anyone else have anything to say before we move on? We just talk about what we liked first off. Nothing. All right, yeah. So we'll get into what we liked. I'll say this. This is like my first point I want to make. That I really liked how they did the quantum realm. I thought the quantum realm was really cool, and it looked, and like I was just impressed by this, like the scale and the scope of the quantum realm, like the atmosphere, the colors, the way the character and the creature designs were like. The buildings were alive. That was really weird. It was just really weird shit, and I liked that a lot. So that's how I'm gonna start off with that. I don't know what your thoughts on how the quantum realm was portrayed.
Yeah, the first third of this movie is just Ant-Man in a Star Wars film. Actually, the whole movie is kind of just Ant-Man in a Star Wars film, but I like Star Wars. I like seeing all the like makeup and effects. I thought that was really fun. I do think at times, the way they film these movies, it's a little too CG at times. I would have liked to see a little more practical, but I like the creatures. I like the aliens. I thought it was like fun to see all that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was there. I don't know. There was one design I thought was like really. They had some really cool designs, some really dumb designs, like the broccoli guy. I was like, why is there a broccoli man? Like, that makes no sense to me, but it's okay.
Yeah, but they definitely thought that was funnier writing it than it actually was.
Yeah, we'll talk about the writing for what we did in that part, but yeah, I did like the fact that like the first third of the movie was just just a recap of what happened to like Scott post Endgame, and just like how he is just, he's embracing the fame and just has his own book, which you can actually buy. Like that book is like you can actually buy it. It's like a part of like the marketing for this movie. And like the fact that like he's living an ordinary life and making money off of his tell-all, and I think it's really funny.
It's to me, it felt like the world and like how it was designed. It felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy world in a way. It felt like some place that the Guardians would, hop to, and I think it's a good way of how the MCU is staying tonally consistent and is like these bright and vibrant worlds. So I did enjoy the design of the world. I wish we could have gotten more into it. But I enjoyed the scope and feel of the quantum realm. I liked the tribes it had too. It had its own world. So I like the world building.
Yeah, the world building was pretty solid. James, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I thought that was like beyond Kang and Michelle Pfeiffer. That was probably like one of my favorite parts of the film. Is all the designs looked really interesting and cool, and it was definitely more interesting and creative than I thought it was going to be. Because, at least in the other movies, the quantum realm was kind of like didn't really look too hot. Because it was literally just like a weird like Doctor Strange like transition where you're like, oh, that's just a bunch of goop in the background. But I like how they actually gave it like its own designs, and it did feel a lot like Star Wars. But Star Wars is good, so you might as well copy from something that's really good.
Exactly. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, that part where he actually like they all go into the quantum realm was like they're just doing Doctor Strange again. Like it didn't feel that way, and I was like, huh, like. It's just Doctor Strange. It still looks cool, but I mean, just like it's just. We already seen that shit with Doctor Strange, but yeah, I didn't really expect that either. From how weird. I just like how weird everything was. I just like how it just didn't really take anything too seriously in terms of like the quantum realm. Of like they were like you could tell like they were having fun, just designing it and just having like all that stuff. Yeah, I do think that like in terms of Peyton Reed, from what we've seen of him, this is. In terms of like how he did the directing for the quantum realm, it's some of the best he's done in terms of the other three Ant-Man movies, which is a low bar, but I mean like that's how I feel. I thought his directing in terms of like how Scott and everyone else like were going through the quantum realm was really well done. But yeah, I think Peyton Reed did a good job like with that.
I don't know that I completely agree with that. I feel like especially the first Ant-Man was probably more creative in how they like used the cameras and everything like that, I guess. I thought this movie was very safe, and I guess we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Oh, we got a comment. Someone's saying, is this a biased or reality check review? Is it a biased review? I don't know. Like
I mean, if you agree with the Rotten Tomato score, then I guess it's biased because I don't think it's 43%. But
did it drop to 43? I saw it was 53 last time.
It's down to like I thought it's down to like in the 40s. I thought
I can check it right now.
48. Declan says it's 48. He just checked it. It's at 48%. I don't think it's a 48%. I think if you want an MC movie that's a 48% movie, that's Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's Thor: Love and Thunder. Oh God.
I think this would probably be more. This is like more like a 60 probably because like it was fun. It was good, but it was also like not as. It was like they tried to go for something different than the other two Ant-Man movies, but they still came out with the same result of just like it was not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't leave this movie mad or anything like that, but it at the end of the day, it's like fine. Like I'm gonna watch it and I'm never gonna watch it again probably.
He's saying it's the same crap it's been for like a year and a half. Oh, he said 3 years for 3 years after Endgame. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I find that kind of goofy because it's like, are we forgetting that Shang-Chi came out after Endgame? Yeah, because that was not like the other crap.
Yeah,
Loki was not like the other crap.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever was good.
And Wakanda Forever, that was like 2 months ago, and that was better than you know what I mean. I think people are sick of the MCU at this point.
But yeah, no. I do want to also say that, like, yeah, I did appreciate how, like, I mean, because the Ant-Man movies, even like the first one and like I guess the second one as well, like they have like a really like nice charm to them. It was a little dumbed down in this one, but like I still thought it was pretty fun throughout, like for the most part. So I like the fact that they kept it fun with like a little bit of charm to it. Could have hammed the charm more, but like I mean, like that's I didn't. I was entertained. I was entertained while I was watching this movie, even though there are problems with this film. But yeah, yeah, I think that's all I gotta really say. I'll probably come with other stuff I like later, but yeah. Anyone has anything else to want to say before we move on to what we didn't like at all?
It's just going to be an hour of us complaining from here.
I was going to Kang, Jonathan Majors was great, even though he's only in like 15 minutes of the movie.
No, we're going to get into it. Don't worry about it. We're going to get into Jonathan Majors.
He was so good. He was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that were good in the movie, a certain scene I liked particularly was Kang's intro to Scott and Cassie when they are it's in jail. Mm-hmm. That to me was a solid its intro towards Kang the Conqueror. He's threatening. He's somewhat of like, you know, a snake oil, of how I can give you what you want, and that's time. Like I thought that his performance and the writing of that scene in particular was pretty darn good. I thought that scene stands out to me. It's in the movie, to be honest.
Gotcha. All right. Well, anything else before we move on? All right. Nope. All right. So we're gonna talk about what we didn't like. And this is where like I'm gonna. This is one thing I have in mind where I was like on my slides I gotta put up. But like, yeah, one thing that bothered me, and the thing is, it sucks because like I love Kang and like I love Jonathan Majors as Kang, but I'm like, yo, why the fuck did they think that Ant-Man fighting Kang was a good idea? Like I'm just like, come on, like this is Kang the Conqueror we're talking about here. This guy who has conquered thousands of worlds and timelines, and Ant-Man is gonna fight this dude. Like I didn't really believe it could happen throughout the entirety of this movie, especially the way they were hyping him up, hyping up Kang as like a threat, which is like one of my favorite parts about the movie. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to say. Y'all can chime in.
I don't know. I thought, well, I mean, like throughout the movie, they keep reiterating that he's not full power Kang. Like they're like, he's trapped here. He doesn't have he fixed his timeshare, but his timeshare was only had enough power to give him back his suit, and then I broke it. So all he has is a suit. So like, he doesn't have any of the time travel. He doesn't have anything else. So that's why I was like,
okay,
it's believable that he could Ant-Man, and plus it's not like Ant-Man like wins. It's more like Ant-Man like successfully escapes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. He gets the hell out of there, and then you're like, okay, because I mean, at the end of the movie, it was him literally sitting there going like, "There's no way I killed that guy. There's no way I'm fucked."
I fully thought at the end of that movie that they were going to pan over and Kang was going to be like one of the waiters at the restaurant.
That's what I thought too. I thought like because I thought they were going to play on the fact that like there could be a Kang variant at any moment, and I thought they were going to do that, and I was like, oh shit, like well they didn't. It's fine.
I think that would have been a funny way to end it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, so concerning your point about how you think, like, Kang fighting Ant-Man, really? Well, I get what you're saying, but I think that the whole, like, about the setup enforces how important Scott has become over time towards the course of the MCU. Like, back in 2015, Scott Lang was like, he's the small time, he's the little guy.
He's the little guy, yeah.
And then starting with Civil War, he starts to, get involved in the bigger picture, like finding, he is working with his idol, with Captain America. And I think with the sequel, with Ant-Man and the Wasp, it showed how Scott has improved as a hero, as a father figure, and, how he has become more ingrained with like the larger happenings of the MCU and, his involvement then with Endgame, of how he helped. It's with the time travel aspect since he experienced it. So I think that I think having Scott be the opposing force to Kang the Conqueror, I think just emphasizes, in my eyes at least, shows how big Scott Lang himself has gotten and but evolved. It's over the course of the story since he went, it's from the little guy to helping save the world, I feel.
Mhm.
And I think Scott, it's over the course of movies, has earned that in my eyes. So
honestly, yeah. The thing is, like, yeah, I did. That was one of the things I did like, and again, just backtracking, but like, yeah, that was like the whole family dynamic was the whole like family relationship of like having like Scott dealing with raising an adult kid because he missed so much time. That was cool, and also just like, yeah, like the whole how he's the little guy trying to like fight a god or a god-like figure. Basically, I thought was interesting, but yeah, that was a good point, Alec. Good point to make. Yeah, okay. Still bothers me though. It still bothers me, but it's just like it's. But you made some good points. Like one thing I also say I didn't like. I mean, I don't know if this is like I mean, it's definitely a writing issue, but there were a lot of like I was expecting to like genuinely like laugh during this movie just because I remember the first Ant-Man, and even sometimes even Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like there's some generally like some good jokes written in there that like made me belly laugh at points. I barely laughed in this movie, and like there were times where when I watched it, like you could tell that there was a joke that they said that clearly was supposed to make people just like it was really meant to have people have a reaction from people, but like no one was feeling it. Like it was just like the jokes were not landing as much as they were hoping they would, and it was just like oof. Like I was like, yeah, that's a little rough. Coming
No,
from it.
yeah. I know they were going for like a more serious tone or whatever for this, but I still think it should have been like funnier and honestly a little more lighthearted. Like I still think you can balance that serious and that like fun.
That's true.
I get also too that it's a larger stake story and we don't have time for time on Earth, but damn it, it's not an Ant-Man movie without Luis.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
like
not
it's just
the same. It is not the same.
Like
I feel
listen, man, you need T.I., bro. I'm sorry, but like T.I.
All right. Well, hold on. That's a step too far that we need T.I. I don't think we need T.I.
Dalsmatian, Pena, and T.I. are
well,
like.
Well, Dalsmatian was in it.
Yeah,
he was in it, but like it's just voice. Like I don't know. It's just. But even when he was in it, I didn't even realize he was in it.
Okay, but like, why did we need Michael Pena in this movie?
I don't know.
Exactly. You can't. I can't even give you a reason.
I just love him in the franchise.
You're telling me they're in a whole separate universe, and you want Michael Pena to come out for a bit that was like funny the first time?
Just have it on Earth or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in the 5-10 minutes on Earth.
Have him do the live recap of what happens to Scott post Endgame. Like that'd have been funny. And it's like having
bongos playing and everything.
Yeah.
I will say it does feel like a little disconnected when you look at what the other two movies did compared to this one. Like, yeah, you still have like most of the supporting cast as far as like, the family and everything like that, but you lose all those other characters you had and that you
really Randall Park was in it for a hot second, and it's just like
a bit of like I'm friends with my it's with my former
like
it's
PO.
parole officer. Yeah.
Rebecca, you're right. It does feel a bit disconnected. Granted, because it's trying to be a lot more grander in scope than the last two. Because like it's this movie's drastically different from in terms of like tone, in terms of scope and scale from the other two. So yeah, I can tell why it does feel a little bit disconnected a little bit. Even though the cast of characters are pretty much the same without like Louise and all that stuff. But yeah, I get what you mean by that. But I'm trying to think of stuff I didn't like. But granted, like that's always me when I watch a movie. I always forget shit.
I mean, like, I think a lot of the problems with this movie goes back to the writing. Just like, the writing and directing was just like okay, and that's the main, and those are like the two things in your movie that probably should be the standouts if you're gonna make a good movie.
and the thing is, like, I generally think that like the first half of the movie is especially stuff with Kang, is for the most part like either like they have some moments where it's like pretty solid. It has some like really well written moments in the film, but then that second half of the film just kind of just like goes off the rails and kind of like goes like and it kind of like has like a steady decline in terms of like the writing, in terms of like, especially because it's so many characters. It's a character problem. Like how there's so much characters happening in this movie that like not a lot of them get a lot of the spotlight, and we'll talk about some of them when we do the character breakdown. But yeah, it's just I was one thing I was like bummed about. I was like, it just that first half I thought was good, and then it just kind of was a mess later on.
Oh, go ahead, Seamus.
You go ahead. I'm just gonna.
Okay. One thing I think too, and I've seen other people say this online. I do think the marketing was a little like offering something that we didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch the trailers, it kind of implies that like Scott's like willingly working with Kang to get time back with Cassie. And
that's what I thought.
That's not what happens.
Scott makes
I think that's weird.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But then it just went in a completely like opposite direction, and it's just like, damn, you know. Yeah, the marketing.
I've also heard this movie had like reshoots like very close to release.
I heard they changed the ending.
I don't know how true that is.
I heard they changed the ending of the movie.
The ending did get changed a month before the movie came out. So they filmed this like I think like end of December. This ending, because originally the ending was supposed to be Scott and Hope get trapped in the quantum realm. And that was it.
And that, you know what's funny? That was the vibes I was getting when I saw that scene where like they defeat Kang. I was like, oh, and they're trapped there forever. At least for now. And I was like,
no, but Cassie has another thing. It's fine.
Here's the thing. I was watching it. I was like, damn, they're really gonna keep this man from his daughter again. But at the same time, it does make it more interesting if you have a bad ending.
Like that was the thing, right? Like when I watched it, I was like, either like Scott's gonna like Kang's about to get like fucking murder Scott, and then Cassie's gonna be like, that's gonna set up Cassie like being statue, because that's what happened in that's what happened in the comics. But or Scott and Hope are just gonna be trapped in the quantum realm. They become the new leaders of like the quantum realm, I guess. That would have been cool. But like I don't know. I do kind of wish they would have delved into either of those directions.
I don't know, that whole like final couple scenes as we got them were a little wonky, so
that's true.
I don't know.
So the guy who wrote this movie, Jeff
Loveness?
Yeah.
He wrote for Rick and Morty, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah,
you can tell. Yeah. It's I think what's
they gotta stop hiring Rick and Morty writers to write these movies.
That's the thing I thought was kind of funny when I was watching Beyond the Trailer talk about it. She said the same thing. She was like, they need to stop hiring Rick and Morty writers to write MCU films, because it's clearly not working. Because didn't he also write? I think he wrote Multiverse of Madness, and that movie was, was pretty mid.
And then Michael
Multiverse of Madness was better than this, though.
It's Michael wrote. I thought he wrote the Multiverse of Madness.
I thought Michael Waldron wrote Multiverse and Loki.
Yeah.
And
I think we're thinking
they all meshed together into one Rick and Morty writer that I don't like.
I also agree that that's like the movie. I don't know why they decided to do that in terms of writing their films, but like clearly it's not working. They need to. That's one thing that's one thing they have to change for sure. I mean that's all I gotta say on like general stuff that I didn't like. I'll probably have more later on, but anyone else have anything else to want to say before we move on to characters? All right, so moving on to characters now. So obviously our boy Scott Lang, Ant-Man, played by Paul Rudd. I'll say this though, Paul Rudd was good in this movie. Paul Rudd did not fail. I thought he did fine with what he was given.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, he was solid. Like, especially like what Alex said previously with Scott's arc. I think Scott's arc, for the character made sense in terms of him, trying to, balance dealing with the whole dealing with raising an adult daughter after losing so much time with her. That I thought was really great.
See, I feel like we didn't get enough of that arc. I feel like they were too busy walking around that he didn't really have that much development.
Yeah, I mean, for the whole movie, it was just him saying. It felt like him and Cassie were just saying the same lines over and over again on a different backdrop. You know what I mean? Like it was her going, Dad, and then him going, Cassie, I still love you, and that's it. And then they just kept cycling through that. And the only time it actually hit was when the only time I actually liked it, and it probably should have been the only time that was in the movie, was when he's in the prison with Kang and when he's going down into like the time sphere. Like those are the only two times that I actually enjoyed that dynamic. But every other time I was like, this is why do you guys keep talking about this? Don't you have anything else to say?
I think it's also weird that she's complaining that he's not a hero when he's doing hero stuff through the entire movie.
He's like been doing hero stuff for like 7 years at this point. So that's why when she was like, "You're not a hero, Dad. You're not helping us," I'm like, did this dude not just help fight Thanos in like the last time we saw him? Like, was he not? Was he not the
linchpin? Was he not the linchpin?
He was the linchpin. He was. Scott told that it's the Cap and it's Cap and Natasha, and they're like, "Oh shit." Time passed for him.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, I got what they were trying to go for, but it just wasn't like interesting or original or like entertaining.
I don't think it really worked that well in the movie they were going for.
It's well, concerning Scott in my book, I thought that his scenes at the beginning and the end of the movie, when he has his monologue of him having to read his book, he's a hero now, he helped save the world, so like that. He also mentioned, and something that kind of irked me, he mentioned it's in the book, he's having got to read a certain type of excerpt, and he mentions he time traveled Captain America. So, I mean, again, small tangent, but is the time travel thing public now?
I would think so if it's in the book.
It's tell all, then I guess so.
It was just like it's in the back of my mind of like, what does the world know about what happened in Endgame? Like, thought in the back of my mind, anyways. But yeah, so Scott has his opening of like he's a hero, he's got a daughter and stuff like that. And then contrast that to a scene at the end, Paul Rudd having an internal panic attack about like, wait a minute, Kang said, it's something far worse out there. Oh my God, I've done something wrong, and like, his panic attack at the end of like, just having to think about, you know what, it's fine, but again, great performance. It's by him at the end there of just like Scott's like panic and like fear that something is going to come from it's what happened in the movie.
Yeah. I think Paul Rudd, like Mikey said, did a good job with what he was given. Again, the writing is not the strongest in this movie.
Like that's the thing, right? Like I mentioned the jokes. At least I laughed at his jokes. Like his jokes, I think hit like the most out of them all.
He was funny. The scene, like we were saying, when he's in the time sphere, or whatever, when he's like talking about saving his daughter, I like that kind of stuff. Maybe it's just the daddy issues talking, but I like that,
It's when Scott starts to split. It's from all his alternate realities.
That probability storm was really that was a cool scene. And you see Baskin Robbins Scott, I died.
His Jake, I think his name was Jake. His name tag said Jake. And then like Scott saying like no, and then like I think like a certain Scott, it's super faint in the background, but like a guy says, "Hey, you have any ice cream?" I heard that very faintly and I laughed.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like he did a good job with the jokes and all that. Seamus, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say that was the part I was talking about that like actually worked. One of the two, because that was not only like visually entertaining, but also like it was a good character moment for Scott. It was really cool to see him go into that, and then Kang's on the outside just looking menacing, which is all I need Jonathan Majors to do. Yeah. And like, it was the one time in the movie that I actually was like, oh yeah, this Cassie should be like only screaming dad during this moment, because what else can you do? Yeah. When your dad goes into like a sci-fi probability storm.
That's what I'm saying. Like literally, like you finally used to saying like you kept reiterating all like how much he doesn't like to save you. Like I know how much crazy shit this man is doing for your ass. Like, come on, like it's. We'll talk about Cassie in a second, but yeah, no. Overall, I thought Paul Rudd was one outside of Jonathan Majors, one of the best parts of this movie. I thought he did a good job what he was given. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's Paul. I hope to see more Paul Rudd. I don't know if he's going to continue after this, but I really hope we see more Scott Lang in this for sure.
I mean,
Yeah, we never got an Ant-Man will return after this.
That's true. Yeah. Anyone else want to say anything else on Scott Lang from?
I mean, I don't think they do the will return anymore because you just assume everyone's coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
It said Kang at the end. It said
At this
Kang,
point, you're like,
it said Kang shall return at the end.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
true. All right.
I mean,
so
I couldn't have guessed that based off the 2 after credit scenes. That's shocking. Is this the first time that both after credit scenes have just been the villain?
Actually, yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, if there's anyone that deserves it, it's Jonathan
Yeah,
Majors
of course,
in his
yeah.
Creed body. You know what I mean?
Of course, man. Yeah, listen, man. Only a man that sturdy deserves post-credit scenes that just involve himself. All right, yeah. So this one we'll move on. So the next bit of characters are I put these on. I put 2 of them on one slide. Hope and Dyne and Cassie Lang, played by Evangeline Lilly and Kathryn Newton. I'll say this, right? I kept forgetting that Wasp was in this movie every like 5 minutes. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just it's movie's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, and like I feel like she was barely I feel like she was barely in it, or like there's something about her where it's like I just forgot she was there. Like some for the most part.
That's because they didn't give her anything to do.
Yeah, like I don't think she had an arc. Like, she was just there, and I was just like, okay.
I think like I think the only thing that Hope had happening for this movie is of how she has advanced. You know, I think the company is like, it's Van Dyne Pym technology or something like that.
Yeah, like a foundation or something like that. And she's like, yeah,
and like it's cool to see how she's using the Pym particle to like help society and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's housing, environmental stuff. Like, that was cool. I want to know what Hope's doing with that. And I think that the only thing Hope had happening for her in the quantum realm was having to learn what her mom did, of what Janet did, and you know, having to know that, you know, I agree with you, Mikey. I feel that Evangeline didn't have as much to do as she did in the first 2 movies.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, I did like the beginning where, like, during the recap, where, like, yeah, she's like actually becoming like she's becoming a humanitarian by using the technology that her father invented, and she's like doing good for the world. But then, like, other than that, all I remember is her just complaining to her mom about like what she was hiding. But those were most of her lines of like, what was she hiding? Like, Mom, what are you hiding? Mom, what are you telling us? Why do you keep lying to us?
So,
that's
the
what I
only
thought
scenes that matter for her in this movie is her saving Scott and her saving Scott again at the end. But like, other than that, she's might as well not be here, you know?
Yeah.
I thought her action was cool. Like, there's some cool action in there.
And goddamn, that haircut does not look any better in motion.
They tried, because like I know they're going for that, you know, like classic Wasp look in the comics, but like it just doesn't work. I don't know. I think it's her
Michelle Pfeiffer's out here killing it at like 60 whatever, and Evangeline Lilly looks awful in this movie. I'm so sorry they did that to her. I
mean, yeah, I did think the costume looks better than it did in the first. In Ant-Man 2, though, because I like the bright yellow. I mean, if it's the
I don't like any of the costumes in this movie except for like Kang and M.O.D.O.K, and that's it. I think they all kind of look like knockoff Star Wars, and I was like,
knockoff Star Wars.
Oh, it's a Star Wars movie.
That's one thing I also will say I didn't like. I did not like the fact they could just press a button and it just appeared. Like, I'm
so sick of nanotech.
Yeah, so
you know, I hope Tony Stark is rotting in his grave for inventing that shit. He used to be the king of suit ups, and now he invented nanotech, and we don't even get him anymore. We don't get any cool scenes where they're putting on the shit.
It's so annoying, because like I remember, like, because the Ant-Man 1, that was one of my favorite costumes, because he had like the actual physical helmet that he can like open and close, and like it looked really cool. But now it's just nanotech like magic. The costume appears, and it's like, come on, like Marvel. Like, you want to kill your VFX artists that badly? Like, come on. Like, it's
why'd you build a costume when you can underpay someone to do it?
That's true.
Spread the team thin, you know? It's across how many movies happening across 1 year.
Well, okay. but yeah. So, but to moving on to Cassie, I'll say this off rip. They did not need to cast Kathryn Newton in this role because she didn't make the role any better.
Well, it's confusing that they had to recast the role because there wasn't really a role there to begin with, I guess. Because he doesn't do anything beyond just yell "Dad." No, and then she has that weird thing at the end where all of a sudden she gives like a speech, and then all of a sudden she's a leader, and then she gives that weird speech to M.O.D.O.K, and then M.O.D.O.K's good, and you're like, okay, so is this girl's superpower the fact that she has like she's got like Purple Man powers where she can tell anyone what to do and they'll do it? Because like I don't understand why anyone's inspired by her beyond the fact that she has superpowers.
First off,
yeah, like I think Kathryn Newton, from some of the things I've heard, people have been a little hard on her. I didn't think she was bad. I didn't think she like had put horrible chemistry with Paul Rudd or anything like that.
Yeah,
but again, like the script isn't really giving her anything to work with either. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's
not like she was bad. It's just like she had nothing to do other than that, and it was kind of disappointing. And it's why I was like, I don't understand why you needed to recast this role, because if you're gonna recast it, you might as well give her like more to do in the movie than just do that. If you're gonna have someone as good as Kathryn Newton.
Yeah, and the thing
is Kathryn Newton the nepotism baby? I just want to know how she got this role.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Well, she's a working actress. I've seen her in other things.
Yeah,
I know she's in Detective Pikachu.
Nah, like right? Like in terms of Kathryn Newton, again, I agree. Like the script, like I don't think she did a bad job. It's just the script wasn't doing her any good, her any as an actress, because I've seen her in other stuff, like Detective Pikachu was one. If you want to see her do great in The Society on Netflix, she's great in that show. Like I love that show. I thought she did great. But yeah, like it's not her fault. It's just the way the script is served the character. Because like Cassie in this movie, I thought was honestly kind of just annoying. Like she was just like the way she talked like about like all that shit about her dad, and when like he's doing everything he can for this girl, and it's just like come on. And just like her being
if you're gonna give her daddy issues, make them like believable daddy
exactly.
issues.
And also the stuff about her like wanting to like they kept reiterating the fact that she wants to like try to like actually like help people, and like they kind of hammed it a little bit too much, I think, because it was over and over. Like every time she spoke, she was like, "Oh, we should be helping people, or we aren't doing enough." It's just like, oh my god, like. It's although she makes like very dumb decisions in this movie. Like it's just man, like especially in that battle where that rebel camp gets invaded. She literally like actively puts herself in danger, and her dad has to save her constantly, and it's like, come on, like stop. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what was that previous actress's name who played her?
Emma. What? Wait. So, the kid Cassie?
No, I mean the one in Endgame, like the grown up one.
It's her name is Emma
Furman, something like that.
Yes.
Honestly, they should have just kept her. Like, not saying that like I don't like Kathryn Newton, but like she could have done as good of a job as Kathryn Newton has if they gave her a chance. So.
Here's my take on this. I've said this before in the thing for Phase 4. It's podcast. It's a while back.
Yeah.
And again, it's no knock on Kathryn Newton, but I really wonder how. I don't know. It's the stuff. It's behind the scenes of what happened, but it just it sucks that someone's got their breakout role and then it's taken away.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of things outside of her control. It sucks. I would have loved to see what she could have done, especially as like her big break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what though? Maybe she can spin this, and now that everyone wants to know what she did, maybe she'll land a role in something else.
Maybe, and I hope the best. It comes for her. Don't be discouraged. It's just keep moving. But concerning Kathryn Newton, I don't like to bash actors and their performance, but I thought that Kathryn Newton in this was passable at the very best.
Mm-hmm.
And her character as to how she was written, I'm not as excited for her concerning the Young Avengers as I am, say, for like, Kate Bishop. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's more on the writing. It's like you mentioned, but Kathryn Newton was fine. But I really wonder what Emma Furman, of what she could have done. But I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, yeah, I thought Hope was there, and then Cassie was what was there. Like,
I think you could say that about 90% of the characters in this movie.
Yeah. Like they showed up. That's they showed up to work, I guess.
Yeah.
Got that paycheck.
Yeah, but that's all I'm gonna say on that. So are we good? So we want to
please.
Yeah. So next, actually, I was gonna put our boy next, but I'm gonna do him after this one. But we'll talk about Hank and Janet, played by Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. Actually, here's the thing with Hank. I actually liked Hank in this. Hank was like, he was cool. Like I just love how they just went into the whole like he's just a crazy old ant guy. Like for like most of the movie,
he's like a crazy little grumpy old guy who just likes ants and is like kind of annoyed with everyone.
3 movies,
except for his wife, and I was like, that's sure. I mean, like that's probably the best Hank Pym you're gonna get.
Exactly.
Michael Douglas, it's Michael Douglas, so like of course he can. Him and Michelle Pfeiffer could show up sleepwalking and still give a good performance.
That's true.
I feel like Michael Douglas did sleepwalk during this. He seemed so confused whenever he was on screen. He was like,
but it was kind of like it added to it because I liked when he was like just like he did not know what the fuck was going on, and that's why it was really funny.
Three Ant-Man films in, and you could tell that Michael Douglas was like, ants,
it's Ant-Man 3. What are you gonna do?
Ants. That's literally like all he was.
I saw a TikTok of him saying that the movie would be perhaps more appreciated if you were to take mushrooms beforehand. And I was like, that's hilarious. and then like right after he was like, I'll only come back for Ant-Man 4 if they kill me.
That's what too. Like, if they killed him off, that's when he would come back. Like, that's honestly fair.
Like, this dude he's just like, I don't care. I don't.
Yeah, he honestly, like, that's kind of fair. Well, we have a comment. He says, Flaw Speaking says, my biggest issue with the film is how they did Kang dirty by having him get beaten by a dude who could talk to ants. And he said, how are we supposed to take Kang seriously as an Avenger level threat if he's getting easily beaten by an Ant-Man? We already went over this, but they kind of do a little bit of a leeway with that. But yeah, it did also. I thank God I'm not alone with this because it also I said it bothered me earlier when we talked about it. But yeah, I thought Hank was cool. Hank was fun. Very. And Michael Douglas just didn't care. Which is fine. Like he's earned the right not to care. But I also do like the fact that the stuff with the tech ants, I love that little explanation of like, yeah, they went through an 1,000-year evolution in like a day, so like the linchpin to like defeating Kang.
They're using storylines from Ultimate Comics. They are.
They are.
That's what the maker does to all those kids.
That's exactly what it is. I thought that was genuinely like, I was like, this movie's great just for that. I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, that's enough on. I have nothing to say on Hank. I just thought he was fun, and he's crazy old ant guy. Love crazy old ant guy Hank. It's just great. At least he doesn't beat his stuff in this. So.
Hold on. It's before we move on from Hank. A certain Hank joke I liked at the start. It's when they're at lunch and like, Scott's talking about how he broke Cassie out of jail, and then Hank goes, I would have just had him out with ants, I would have just had to break him out with ants, because it's a callback to the first movie while also showing how Hank was, ant crazy. So
yeah. Also,
Mikey, I heard that. I heard.
Oh, you heard it? Yeah. I was hoping. That you called it.
This whole movie was almost like the complete opposite of that, because the entire time he's like, I love you, Janet. I love you so much, Janet.
Listen, I will always say this. Grant, yeah, Hank Pym in Earth 616 did slap his wife in the face, but he's not Ultimate Hank. Ultimate Hank did far worse.
Yeah, the moment they adapt Ultimate Hank, it's over. Like, there's no going back from that.
Ultimate Hank showing up in Secret War. That's the rumor.
Oh my
I
god!
hope it's still
Like,
Michael Douglas.
context, people. Ultimate Hank used to spray Janet with fucking raid and have ants try to eat her. Okay, that was Lord. Okay, but yeah. All right. So moving on to Janet. Yo, Michelle Pfeiffer, man, acting her ass off. Look at her.
Yeah.
She still got it.
Yeah.
She's the second best actor in this entire movie. Whenever it was her and Kang on screen, I was like, "This is incredible."
She's
These two people are working. These two people are acting.
She's the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a comment. It says "turd and shrooms." I guess they're referring to fucking Michael Douglas. And it's like, drink the goo from Ant-Man 3's Turd and Shrooms old American ceremony have video Ant-Man 3 hashtag turd and shrooms. And then what if Hank wrecked everything? Jesus. But yeah, nah, Michelle Pfeiffer did a really good job. Especially her scenes with Kang early on. Like that's what I'm saying when like the first half, like that stuff, like the flashback with her interacting with Kang for the first time were incredible. Like there is very like I'm gonna say there's very well done chemistry between her and Jonathan Majors in like those scenes. I was like, it's very well done. Yeah, and she did a great job, and she also did some pretty good action too. I was very impressed. I was like, wow, she still can fucking kick ass at like she's 60.
Mm.
She don't even look 60, bro. Like
she's up there.
But yeah, I was surprised that like that.
She's 64.
No fucking way. No. What blood is she bathing in? Jesus Christ. It's like, yeah, no, I did like the looming mystery of like what she did back in the quantum realm, like how bad, like every other character was like, yeah, like she has a rep, like she did something so bad that like it was ostracized her. I thought that was a really interesting way to go about it. But yeah, I did like all of her interactions with the quantum realm because she knows all the customs, she knows how the world is. And yeah, and also like her interaction with Hank. I thought her interaction with Hank were very, very cute. That's some cute like old couple moments. And I was like, oh, that's great.
I've got needs, Henry.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. She was fucking. She was
like, her and Bill Murray, man, you know.
Oh man, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, bro, no, she was. I mean, listen, man, it is what it is, bro. And then I'll go. Hank was saying he did the same thing. It's just like, yeah,
I don't know if I buy that Hank gets bitches, but
no, he got that Kathryn Zeta-Jones wrist, bro. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, didn't Hank say he got like one girl and then it immediately failed?
Yeah, because and it was cute because he was like because she wasn't her, and I was like, oh,
yeah. She's like, whatever.
Again, Catherine Zeta-Jones Riz, bro. It's just like, but yeah, nah, I thought that was really cool, and also yeah, just like she was more of an expert on the quantum realm, while like Hank was more confused. I love the whole thing with the ship, how like he didn't want to like put his hands inside of the
yeah.
I don't know what to call it, like tubes, orifices. I don't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. But yeah, no, that's all I really gotta say on them. I thought Michael Douglas was great. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was fun. I thought she was really good in this, and I hope we see more of Janet in the future. Maybe, I don't know.
I think we will.
Well, I mean, like she's like intrinsically connected to Kang. You know what I mean? So, like, she probably would have like at least a little role in Kang Dynasty if it's gonna, you know what I mean? Because Kang Dynasty is written by Jeff Loveness as well, so.
Oh no!
I don't see why I wouldn't have her at least show up in it.
Is he actually writing Kang Dynasty?
Oh yes, sir.
That's not good.
Oh yes.
Oh no. Okay.
Can you imagine this dude trying to write Namor?
Oh my gosh.
And with how they did Namor and Rick and Morty? No way, bro. No way. Get him out of here. I don't want this shit.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, are we all good? So we can move on to the best part of the movie?
Yes. Yes.
Like, yes, please. Yes.
Yes.
All right,
so, please be Bill Murray. Please be Bill Murray.
So to move on, not Bill Murray. It's not. We're gonna talk about Bill Murray though.
If Bill Murray's on the slideshow, I'm leaving.
So the next character we're gonna talk about, obviously the villain, our boy, getting sturdy, our boy with the Creed body, our boy with the with Kang, aka the Wall, is King the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Man, okay, here's the thing, right, bruh. The first half when we see his introduction, not even only his introduction, but like everyone just talking about just like him, just to like get a like the intimidating atmosphere before you even see him, gave me goosebumps, bro. I was like, I like when you see this man come out with his costume straight out of the comics, like all he had to do was stand there and you felt the vibe where it's just like, yeah, don't fuck with this guy. Like it's just like I love the intensity, that intensity, like that energy that like Jonathan Majors brought with his performance, especially like in that first half. Lord, oh my god, we didn't have to see this man fight. And I was already like, I was pissing my pants a little bit. I was like, this is good shit. His stuff with Michelle Pfeiffer, especially like they're going through that origin of like how they met and like how she basically saved his life. That was really great. And it even gave me the vibe where it's like, oh, like they're actually making like Kang seem like he was a good guy at some point. He was a nice guy until she touches the multiversal core and then sees his memories of who he actually is. And then like, and I love those scenes too where we see the of Kang like murdering people. That was kind of wild. But you have that moment where like Kang's like all happy, like, hey, ready to go home, and then she's like terrified, and then you're just like, but come on, like Janet, let's go home. Like you really had that like shift in his performance where he just like goes from that seemingly nice, caring like guy that like you know that kind of it seemed like Janet like kind of fell in love with a little bit to more of that like monster. And I was like, I was shaking. I was like, this is incredible. Like Jonathan Majors is killing this shit right now. That's how I'm gonna start off. I don't know who wants to chime in.
He was exactly what I hoped he would be. Because Kang is not really Kang in the comics is not really an event level threat. You know what I mean? Like he's an Avengers level threat, but like it's always like he's more of like an annoyance than he is like an actual like problem.
Yeah, they usually stop him before he can actually do anything cool.
Yeah, or when he does do something cool, they reverse it almost immediately via time travel, and then he's like, not the Avenger, and you're like, oh, okay, this guy's. But Jonathan Majors is acting like this dude is going to be like,
dude, right?
He's going to kick everyone's head in.
That's the thing, like, and Kang always seemed like a ridiculous character to me. So I'm like the fact that Majors is adding that gravitas to him to make him seem like he's gonna fuck everything up. It's just that was great. Like it was, oh man, dude, yeah, like
to me he definitely stands out as like the highlight of the movie. But at the same time, I almost wish we got like a little more time with him and his character.
There were some reviews that I saw where like they thought that like at the second half of the movie Kang was getting a little goofy, and like I kind of liked that. I'm kind of the opposite. I kind of liked how like he was kind of being a little bit like the typical like monologuing villain, because like, that's kind of how he is in the comics anyway. So it like kind of worked. So like I thought it worked to that favor. But no,
I think the goofiest. Sorry to interrupt. I think the goofiest part about him is just like the gif we have on screen where he like has to scream to like kill people.
Nah, that's because he's just crazy. Kang is insane in this. Like Kang is generally mentally unstable, and they lean on that in this movie. Like it's just like he's just like he's obsessed with conquering and just killing people for no reason. And it's
I'm just saying it's a silly visual.
Yeah, the visual. Yeah, I actually like that shot a lot. It was kind of fun. But I thought Kang was dude. He was incredible, and he was giving Paul Rudd those Creed 3 hands, bro. Oh God. Jesus Christ! Like there are moments where I was watching with Christian, who people don't know, he's one of the members of this podcast, this channel. We were both being like at points we were just like, oh my God, like he's getting his hits in. Like I was like, it was. I'm gonna pull the meme up in a second, but like in a second, but like Seamus knows what I'm talking about because I love this meme that they try to put him. No, Kang was putting in that work. It was crazy. Alec, you didn't say anything yet. What are your thoughts on Kang?
I will say this though. It's to go from Thanos with, of course, Josh Brolin to Kang the Conqueror and his variants with Jonathan Majors. The status of having a big bad, it's with a great actor, continues. I think he's going to do great as the big bad, having to go forward. Concerning the Conqueror in this movie, I thought he was solid. He was intimidating, all the above of all you mentioned. I did feel that the character himself got nerfed at the end so that the heroes could survive. But concerning from Jonathan Majors' standpoint of how his performance, I thought he did great. His monologue of like, it's great. He mentioned, his variants of having a tie of having the tide into Loki. I think, I've got complete faith in him having to go forward. I've got no concerns about him.
And that's the thing too. I love the fact this is like attests to like the range of Jonathan Majors, but I like how drastically different he is from who he remains from Loki. Like I like even though they're technically the same character, they're drastically different in terms of their personalities, their motivations, which is like I guess that's how it's going to be for most of a good portion of the variants we do see of Kang throughout the next 2 phases. But I like that part about it. And yeah, even just to backtrack when Seamus is like, saying how like this version of Kang is a little bit like powered down, which like makes a little bit more sense to like how like Ant-Man and all of them can fight him. I did like the fact that like he's powered down, but even with the suit, he's pretty powerful, just for the most part. He's just kooky. He's just a kooky villain with like a god complex, and I loved it. I was like, it's and you could tell that like Major's having so much fucking fun doing it. Like he's born to play a mod like this crazy intense monologue doing with a god complex. It's just okay. I'll say this right. My favorite moment right throughout the whole thing with Kang. When this man put a "Hey Auntie" and was like, "Hey Jelly Bean," I was like, "Like what?"
That was funny as fuck.
I was like, "Yo, like that's what I do." Like, no, this man kind of gangster, bro. This man put a "Hey Auntie." He took a rule out of Killmonger's book. Oh, there's no way.
Hey,
Yo, I was like, nah. But also, everything about Kang I thought was incredible, and I'll pull up the meme. I'll pull up the meme right now, but because I saw this meme in on IG and it had me dying. But it's just the image. But like the meme basically was of freaking Kang doing that like fucking axe kick, and then like it all it said was like this is how we do ants, nigga. That's what it said. It had me dying. Cause it was like that was the vibe that he was bringing to this fucking role, bro. He was just like, yo, like this is how we do ants, and he was giving him the Creed 3 hands, bro. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But yeah, man, like look at that, bro. Like I expect more of this shit in the next few. I want more of this like crazy ass intensity from Majors, from Kang, man. It was good stuff. I don't know if anyone else has any like favorite moments from Kang at all, or
a certain shot that was in the trailer and also it's in the movie too. I believe it was in the movie too. Well, it was when he's kicking Scott's ass and he goes, somewhat in like a pitiful manner. He goes, it's you thought that you would win. Yeah, just that's a standout. It's a moment for me of like how he, takes some pity on Scott of how he's like, he's killed Scott's, his variants in the past. That I mentioned, like, he's taken it out as the Avengers, or so he claims.
That's the thing, right? Like he even said, like, I've killed Avengers before. Like, how do you think you can beat me? Like, I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, even the fact that like, which I've never seen from Kang in the comics, and like Seamus, you can like kind of add on to that. If like I've never seen Kang be able to like him without the tech and just him being able to just like actually being a capable fighter. Like, I've never seen that in the comics before.
He's
no.
He's like I mean like you'll get like the odd variant that like the twist is that he just does like he punches people, but like Not like they did Jonathan Majors in this movie, where he's like, yeah, I did 2 years of Creed 3 training. What do you want? Now I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. Also, Sarah says hi and says bye because she hasn't seen the movie at all yet. So hi, Sarah, and bye, Sarah. Yeah, nah. I mean, yeah. Overall, like, yeah, Jonathan Majors, Kang, best part of the movie. We're gonna talk more about him in terms of like obviously the ending, but yeah, no. As this movie, I was like, I loved it. I thought he did a great job. Also, love the fact that like we all knew the moment that he was gonna leave to go to their world, he was gonna conquer the fuck out of it. That was the plan, and he was gonna do whatever it took to get out, so he could just conquer more shit. I loved that. Like that's so crazy. Like but that's Kang in the comics, so it makes sense. But yeah, any other thoughts on Kang before we move on to the next character?
Oh, a couple other small tidbits. I enjoyed how Kang was portrayed as a contained monster kind
Monster
of
in a cage.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And also too, like the way how he was talked up about, like how he has taken over the quantum realm and had to make an empire. It was very similar, and a few people will relate to this. Is he was talked up very similar to how The Walking Dead talked up Negan all throughout the end of season 6. A very few select people will know exactly what I'm talking about, but that was the vibe I was getting from how he was hyped up all throughout the movie.
No, it's just
it's been a long time, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's around the corner. It's you got no idea what you're dealing with, type of thing. So I was like, that's super similar to how they played
and
it.
that was one of my favorite parts about it. Again, like the way they built that atmosphere of like don't fuck with this guy. Like he's going to be a problem. Like I love that, like how they made him like a real threat just by having the people just mention him throughout like before, like the beginning of the movie before we see him. Yeah, that was very well done. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, we'll talk more about Kang like a little later. Yeah, all right. So to move on, so the next character, obviously is the oh god, I kept laughing every time I saw this man on screen. I'm sorry. He was God. There's freaking your boy M.O.D.O.K, played by Darren by M.O.D.O.K or Darren Cross, played by Corey Stoll. I'm sorry. Like I know they tried their best to make M.O.D.O.K look be threatening, but like every time this man was on screen and everyone in the theater was also doing the same thing, I kept chuckling so hard because I'm like, this man just looks ridiculous, and I'm just like, not even just because it's the bad CGI or whatever, but like I just thought like they generally tried to put M.O.D.O.K in live action and thought it would work. Like I'm just like,
well, I don't think they thought it was going to be like, oh, guys, M.O.D.O.K is so cool. It's a joke character. Everyone knows he's a joke. It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah. It's just I was just dying, bro. But granted, I give props to Corey Stoll though for coming back and like doing this, like like because granted, like Yellow Jacket, like when he was Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man 1, like I didn't think he was that he wasn't that memorable of a villain. But like I feel like he's gonna stake his claim in the MCU now because
I agree with you. Especially since a common critique about the first Ant-Man is like, oh, it's kind of like a rehash of Iron Man 1 with he's the opposite, he's the polar opposite, same powers as the hero kind of thing. But you're right, Mike. I think this would make it retroactively makes him more interesting. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask this though. Do you think they really needed to have him be M.O.D.O.K in this movie, like, or just have him at all? Like,
well, okay. Apparently they had him in this movie because Paul Rudd originally wanted the script to be Ant-Man and the Wasp versus M.O.D.O.K and AIM, and then they turned it into like oh no, but they need to introduce Kang, so it's going to be Kang in the quantum realm, and then they were like, oh okay. But yeah, So I think that's why he's in this, because they already were like planning on having him in it. And
I mean, well, granted, like, yeah, I guess maybe they plan on having M.O.D.O.K in it, but not like Darren Cross as M.O.D.O.K. Maybe, like, I don't know if that was the plan that they were going for, because like you didn't have to bring this Darren Cross back.
Yeah.
Like,
I think M.O.D.O.K does not look goofy enough. That was my problem with the design. Like I think he needs to look more cartoonish, not like, because it looks like they just put a dude's face on a little body and called it a day, rather than like trying to give him like a more of a M.O.D.O.K design. You know what I mean? Like M.O.D.O.K's supposed to look like a little gremlin, not like some dude's wide face on like a you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think
at the same time, I don't know that we actually want to see Gremlin CGI abomination M.O.D.O.K.
I'd rather that than like this and his little butt. You know what I mean? We already got his fucking ass in the movie, so like at least give him like a comic accurate head.
That's true. And
they're gonna give him an ass, you know.
And they tried to give it a leeway where like he has a full on faceplate that like kind of has like the M.O.D.O.K like
the faceplate
smile
has
and stuff
like
on
the
it.
M.O.D.O.K face design, and I'm like, why didn't you just make that his face instead of giving him the faceplate thing?
Yeah,
His faceplate design though was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was cool.
I mean, yeah.
I think it would be funny if that was his faceplate, and then the faceplate comes up, and that's just the face too.
Yeah,
the joke is that like it's like as goofy as the faceplate is.
That would actually be funny.
Instead of like awkward like Corey Stoll wide face.
Yeah. I bet Corey Stoll probably didn't even come in for this movie. They probably just had him zoom and just use that.
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was just M.O.D.O.K was just hilarious to see on screen. The fact that like the running joke was like, bro, your name is fucking Darren, not M.O.D.O.K. That was hilarious. But
it's a funny joke.
Yeah, but also like I thought it was even more for the fact like they gave this man like just an assortment of weapons for no reason, because M.O.D.O.K, from my memory, does not have like machine guns and saws and like all that shit. He just has like telepathy and like telekinesis and whatnot. So I was like, come on, guys, y'all really trying to hand this man to be like something serious, like. And they refer to him as the Hunter, and I'm just like, come on, you're making M.O.D.O.K the Hunter, like, come on, like it's just.
I thought M.O.D.O.K was the funniest part of the movie.
He was.
Like,
he was hilarious.
Like almost all of his jokes hit and were actually entertaining. And it's like, oh, cool. At least it worked here.
Yeah, the whole dick thing, that was so funny. Which is like, oh, like come on, like I'm already a dick already. Like it's so funny.
It's a funny joke that was handed towards Darren / M.O.D.O.K was when he reveals himself to Scott and Hank in separate occasions, and then like he's recapping like his past of how he came to be, and then like Scott stops him and goes, "Wait, Darren?" And, like it was like the sitcom-esque, like, "Wait, you?" like type thing. Like I loved that. It's just great delivery. I thought about that.
Like think about it, like this fucking big like 12 head ass name is fucking Darren. Like come on, like that's so. I don't know that's funny. But I did like the fact, yeah, like they explained like why he like what happened like after Ant-Man 1 of like, yeah, this man like got like his chip so fucked up that he like shrunk and like it fucked up his body so badly. As we see here, yeah, we have giant forehead and just like his bare ass. like I can't believe Disney Disney not just Marvel, Disney thought this was okay to put thought this was good for approval. So this this deformed man's butt.
Well, they gave us Andor, so
that's true. But like it's just I don't know, it's hilarious. But yeah, M.O.D.O.K definitely was the funniest part of the movie. He was so funny. It was the way that fucking Kang treats M.O.D.O.K like he's just like a little, he's like a nuisance. It's just hilarious. But yeah, I got nothing really else to say. I kind of don't want to look at it anymore. Because he's just. I genuinely was saying like to Chris we were watching. I'm like, yo, he looks terrifying. I don't like looking at him. It's just like,
he had a kind of a pathetic funny death scene of like, I'm finally a Avenger. Like, no, you're not. But okay, you know.
You was like a brother to me, Scott. And you're just like, the fuck? Like, I literally said that in the theater. I was like, the fuck? And then everyone started laughing because I was like, this is just stupid. But yeah, nah, it's just, yeah, I'm like, it's a one-time thing. I'm kind of happy that he's dead. And yeah, now M.O.D.O.K fans can't bitch about not having M.O.D.O.K because we have M.O.D.O.K now. Not the M.O.D.O.K you wanted, but it's M.O.D.O.K. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on before we move on to I think the last character slide. Nothing. All right, so we'll move on to just this is just the other characters. And then this is where like Seamus, you can leave now because Bill Murray's on the slide. But yeah, yeah. The only others I've only put these three because I feel like these ones were like the bigger ones. Honestly, I'm gonna say this right. This is a waste of William Jackson Harper.
I was literally just about to say these are three roles that were like completely wasted.
Yeah. I was fairly disappointed in the fact that like come on, you have William Jackson Harper who's a very very talented actor who needs to get more work, but like he have him in a Marvel movie and he's just a guy who has just a telepathy joke. He's a telepathy joke constantly. I'm just like, all right, especially because I love the fact that people were like, his name is Quaz, so like he's clearly gonna be Quasar. I'm like, guys, come on, stop! Don't get your hopes up.
If that happened, I would have walked out of the theater. I think that would have been for me. I would have not seen another Marvel movie.
Oh, man.
It's in the back of my head. It kind of in the back of my head though, I'm like, damn, we got 3 actors from Midsummer in here, and one has been wasted.
I know.
Yeah. It's oh my god, it was just like, come on guys, like I mean, was he funny though? Yes, he was funny. Like he generally like he was also one of the funnier roles, but I'm just like, that's it. Like he's just gonna be a guy in the quantum realm and that's it. Like come on, like I want William Jackson Harper to get an MCU bag like everyone else because I think he deserves it.
At the same time, it's like we don't need more characters standing around doing nothing in this movie either.
I was saying he should have been not in this movie at all, and he should have been someone else more important in a different movie.
Yeah, like, because every time I look at him now, I just think of all the rumors that people thought, like, of what people thought he was playing. Like, people thought he was gonna be Quasar, people thought he was gonna be Reed Richards, and I'm just like, oh, come on, like, I wish that was the case with this, because he was just here, and like that's it, and like I don't, it's just a waste of a talented actor, and I was like, come on. Also, I'm forgetting who this girl's name is because honestly,
or the actress or the character?
No, just the character's name.
Centaura.
Or
Centaura.
Yeah. Centaur, whatever the hell. Katana, I don't fucking know. I thought she was cool. I remember the actress from I mean her name's like Kato Quinn or something. I think that's Kato Quinn. Her name is. Remember from Black Lightning? Because I remember she was on Black Lightning for like every season.
It's Katie O'Brien is her name.
Yeah, Katie O'Brien. Okay, gotcha.
Gentora. I lied.
Yeah. She was cool. Like she was a cool character. I mean, she was just a typical like resistance like leader, I guess. Which was fine. I thought she's Aki. Like I was like, I was expecting her to have like, she had some good action. And that's basically all I gotta say. Like she was cool, and that was it. Bill Murray, what a like. I thought Bill Murray was gonna have an actual like role in this movie. He was only here for like 5 minutes and died. Like
I'll say this: Bill Murray put in more effort than I ever thought he was gonna put in this movie. Which is a low bar.
I was so Mikey, I was kind of in the same boat when he got cast. I kind of remember some hype around it. It's like, oh, he's finally in, he's part of the MCU now. What big role is he going to play? And in hindsight, it was a very small role. So it was just to, hype Kang up, help with the world, and show that Hope got laid.
Honestly, I'll tell you that Janet got laid basically. Yeah. That's hilarious.
But yeah, I think he could have. I think it's hinted that he helped with a resistance movement, and now he's in Kang's, his good side, his pocket. He's acquiesced to his rule, and he kind of turned over to and it's Kryler was hammy, but I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest. But
yeah, it's just like he was just there, and that's all I can say. He was there, and that's pretty much it. Like
he showed up.
That's
He
why
was
Mike, I don't give a shit about any of these people.
Yeah, I'm with Seamus.
Let's go. I want to talk about Kang again. Can we go back to?
Gotcha. But yeah, so that's basically it with with this slide. But yeah, so we're just gonna move on to now the part that Alec hates, the theories section. Yeah, so we're talking about the first post, the mid credit scene, which my favorite one, because they literally were just like, hey yo, so like we're basically just gonna be doing the Council of Kangs, and like that's awesome. Like I was like,
it's the Council of Ricks. It's more like
I was just like I don't understand why they didn't make Scarlet Centurion Scarlet.
That's true.
Like why is he like purple?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a shit about the Council of Kings. When I saw this, my exact thought was,
Rebecca,
we're
how
about
dare
to
you
get
not care about
real silly, which I'm fine with, but like, I don't care.
How dare you not care about such storied characters like Immortus and the Scarlet Centurion?
And the Scarlet Centurion and freaking
and
Ramatut, like which is like I freaked out when I saw him as Ramatut, and I was like, like we're gonna get Ramatut, let's go! Like he's like my favorite version of Kang. Is like the Pharaoh version.
I feel like Marvel fans are increasingly approaching Star Wars level of, oh my god, Glup Shido was back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funnier when we do it because they make no sense.
Yeah. But yeah, like the fact that we saw like Immortus, like that's awesome. And also like just the arena of like all of those Kangs coming in. I was like, bro, like they're really giving Jonathan Majors so much shit to do. Like it's just like it's hilarious.
Seeing all those variants, it's like have to go wild. It felt like a frat.
Yo, that like one, that. No, it's literally a frat. It's literally like a PSU frat of just Kangs. It's hilarious. Like, especially that one Kang you saw just fucking screaming for no reason. Like, all you hear was I was like,
they just locked Jonathan Majors in a green screen room and told him to go crazy.
Yeah,
I want to see the behind the scenes of that. I want to see how they did it, just because I'm just like, it's Jonathan Majors just like doing reaction shot after reaction shot. But yeah, I love the fact that like seeing all of those Kang variants, there were like hundreds of them, and it kept coming. Like there were more coming in through those portals. Seeing like he's gonna. Of all those variants are going to be unleashed, especially for Kang Dynasty, like that's going to be nuts. Which is but yeah, I thought this post credit scene was awesome, and like I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see just more, because I think with Kang, which I think was like why he's an interesting villain for this phase, for this chapter, is that like Kang could show up literally in any movie at any random time and it would make sense. That's what Kang does. Like so, like it's just I'm looking forward to seeing more versions of Kang just pop up and just like fucking what's a Marvel movie? What's a random Marvel movie coming out? Like just give me a random Marvel movie. Like it's just
Guardians.
I think Kang should show up at the end of Blade.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Kang shows up at the in Blade, and he's like, and it's Vampire Kang. The main villain of Blade is Vampire variant Kang.
Yeah, I think there was a Kang that like looked like a fucking zombie. I think there was like an older
that was Lizard Kang. He's
that was Lizard Kang, right? Okay. But yeah, no, like I fucking jump in Blade and just have this.
Well, I mean, that'd be great. Or like Kang shows up in Armor Wars, and they do the Kang Industries thing where
honestly, yeah,
where it's like that Asian dude who's Kang, and he tries to buy out Stark Industries.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of like back to Loki, because we saw Kang building for Avengers Tower and Loki, so yeah, that also makes sense as well. But yeah, it's just I'm excited. I'm excited to see more of Kang, and and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like every post credit scene in every Marvel movie just has a Kang variant in it. Like I wouldn't be mad at that. It would be it would be a little too much, but I wouldn't care.
I have a question though.
What's up?
It's like an actual a question. It's that I don't know. So it's implied from this scene that it's all that the variants are angry and they plan to have a council to invade the 616. Its universe is how they are hinting at. It looks like
Maybe, yeah.
But I'm wondering. So Kang the Conqueror has been implied. Well, he's been said to be like an outcast. He's banished. He's he's exiled. Why is the council angry and want to lash out for him dying? Supposedly, why are they mad?
I don't think they're lashing out that he's dying. I think they're surprised that a Kang got killed by Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So they're probably taking an interest in the main universe because they're like, holy shit, how did a Kang get killed in this one by Ant-Man of all people?
And the thing is, like, I don't know if it was me, but it felt that like the Kang that we saw in Quantumania was banished by the other Kangs.
He was. He was. That's what he was.
Right? Yeah. So and yeah, maybe that Seamus is right. Yeah, like they were just surprised, like that version of Kang, which seemed like a very deadly version of Kang.
Yeah, they were like the most war hungry Kang just got murdered by Ant-Man in that universe. What the hell's going on over there?
So like I have another question too. So was the Kang in Quantumania? Is he the Kang that He Who Remains I was talking about in Loki?
I don't think so.
I think all the Kangs are the ones he was talking, because He Who Remains was talking about how there's going to be like hundreds of Kangs coming.
No. He mentioned one particular bad one in Loki.
So then it was probably this one.
Probably that one, yeah.
It's probably that one, but at the same time, anyone you introduce can be like, well, this one's actually the most dangerous,
I think this one's going to be the one in Secret Wars though, because well, he got sucked into that what was it, that time engine thing?
Yeah.
I'll bet you $100 he's going to come back later and be like, oh, I got sucked into the time engine and now I have these intergalactic powers and I'm the Beyonder now. You know what I mean? They're going to make the Beyonder a Kang variant because no one really cares about the actual Beyonder.
That's true. That's kind of clutch actually if they make Kang a Beyonder. Jeez.
Yeah, and it'd be easier to tie in Secret Wars because then you'd be like, oh well, at least the Beyonder's here, even if he is a Kang variant,
But yeah. Overall, I thought this mid-credit scene got me hype. I'm ready to see fucking Kang show up in fucking Captain Marvel or whatever the fuck it. I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So the last post-credit scene, basically was Loki and Mobius going to see a man by the name of Victor Timely, who's another variant of Kang. And yeah, I didn't really know what to make of this one, just because I'm like, oh shit, it's Victor Timely, that's awesome. But I'm just like, is it? I feel like the vibe I was getting was like they're implying that like Victor Timely is like the first one, like the first Kang that like discovered time travel and like started this whole mess, you know. So I thought that was what I was thinking.
I mean, this is just a teaser for season 2, like it says on the title slide, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they probably took this directly from season 2, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this again in like a fuller context.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely what that was.
Oh shit! I found an image of it. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, he looked like freaking he looks like fucking Frederick Douglass. I want to say that.
He does look like Frederick Douglass.
He looks like Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass.
No, honestly though. Wait, hold on. I'm like trying to pull up an image. Yo, literally, like the moment I like do an image search of this photo, I just get pictures of Frederick Douglass. That's hilarious.
So are they gonna do like regular Victor Timely in like this, where like he's the one who inspired basically like well, I guess because in the comics he inspires the guy who creates the original Human Torch robot, which like starts Jim
Hammond. Yeah,
he inspires Richard Hammond, and then Richard Hammond creates the Human Torch robot, and that basically starts like the superhero community. So they can do that here, but just have him be the guy who inspired the guy who's created the super soldier serum. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's possible. I honestly don't know where they're gonna go with this. Like, I don't. But like,
I guess you'll have to pay for Disney Plus to watch season 2 of Loki streaming whenever the fuck that comes out.
Sometime this year.
There's a comment that says, I've reached the point where I won't watch a Disney movie or show, particularly a Marvel movie or show, even if I'm paid to. Well, that's your prerogative. But
why are you watching?
Why are you here?
We're an hour and a half into an Ant-Man review. I don't know what you
stream. Yeah, it's a free stream, but you know.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with this in Loki season 2. He looked like Fred. The fact that Google is like, no, he's Frederick Douglass, bro. That's not Victor Timely. It's hilarious. It's just like, but yeah, nah. Do we have an announcement date for Loki season 2 at all? Did they say anything?
It's sometime
this year.
It's sometime. It's in this. I think the first half of this year. I think I could be wrong. But it's sometime this year.
Gotcha. Okay, and I do like the fact that it's interesting how when Loki ended, it was when Loki comes back to a different TVA with a Mobius and all that, different Mobius, a different with a different Mobius and all that, like for the TVAs ruled by Kang. So I'm curious to see. Well, obviously, it kind of spoils the fact that like he kind of solved that problem already in this post credit scene. So
context is still been needed, of course. So it's still like a question of like, oh, is it the same Mobius? Is it someone different? You know?
Yeah, that's true. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. I don't know really have anything else to say. I was gonna do a theory on like the incursions and all that stuff, but like we don't really need to get into all that.
Yeah, there's nothing really to say about these end credits, especially the second one.
I mean, the fact that like they mentioned the like Kang mentions the incursions like in the movie, which is fine, but like that's obviously a tease for Secret Wars. We don't really have anything to say about that, just because it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And we'll just go to final thoughts. So yeah, what's everyone's final thoughts and like what's your final verdict on the movie?
Mid but fun.
Okay.
Mid, it's safe, it's fine. You're not gonna hate it. You're not gonna love it either. 5 out of 10 needs more ants.
What do you mean needs more ants? We got a fucking armada of ants.
I mean, we need more though.
Their presence was missed throughout 3/4 of this movie.
That's true.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Alec, what final thoughts?
A solid start to Phase 5 and the rest of the new phase of the MCU, of the new saga. Could have packed a larger punch because of some story choices and the like, but aside from that, it's an enjoyable watch. I'd say 7.5, 7.5.
Oh, that's pretty high. It's pretty high. Okay, I'll say yeah. So for me, I thought I enjoyed it. I was very entertained by it. There's good stuff. There's some very good stuff in with this film. Paul Rudd's great. A lot of the quantum microverse. Also, they didn't call it the microverse, which also kind of bothered me. But the quantum realm stuff. Kang is the best part of this film. Like Jonathan Majors fucking killed it. Yeah, I mean, I think this is better. I like this movie. I think a bit better than the second Ant-Man. I don't know. I think because this was more expansive for me. But yeah, no, I'll give this movie. I think I gave it like a 6. It's solid. Maybe it's like a 5.5 or a 6. Like I think it's just I think generally just solid. It's just a solid film. That's it. Not great, not amazing, not terrible, just solid. So 6. A 6 for me, I think. But most importantly, the most important thing they did with this movie is that they gave me this meme, and I will always have this fucking meme in my heart for the rest of my life because I love it. I love it so much because this is how we do it. It's how we do it, nigga. That's how Kang be. And yeah, Jonathan Majors is just sturdy in this movie, and I love it. All right, yeah, that's basically it, people. So I'll just close it out. So thanks for everyone that are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Check out all the other content we have on the channel, the clips that we've been dropping, the Transformers podcast, which Rebecca, I believe, is next week. We're going to be doing the next
week,
next Monday. I'm trying to think what else to plug. Oh, check out our Sanford Green interview that we did because we have the amazing, talented Sanford Green artist. He's a wonderful artist on our podcast, and it was very great conversation that we had with him. It was a lot of fun. Check out the Authority clip that I dropped with me and Seamus figuring out the Authority. That was fun. Just check out and also check out Rebecca's Dead Space stuff because they're great and they're fun and they deserve more love than they should. And I mean that with all honesty, Rebecca. They deserve more love than they should because it's
not that we're biased.
Not that we're biased, but yeah. And then, also check out. I plan on doing a one and done sometime this month. I'm trying to figure out which book to do exactly. But yeah, we'll have our first one and done of the year relatively within like the next few weeks. That's basically it, people. So as always, click the notification button so you know when we drop our videos. We appreciate the support and the love. Alec, thanks for coming back. Thank you so much. We missed you. The movie guy. I needed my guy. I needed the movie guy. So happy that you're back, bro. We appreciate it. And as always, get home safe, and we'll see y'all next time. All right. Later.